And now, time for real sports talk with Tim McAuliffe and friends of the show.
Muchas gracias, sheepdogs. Welcome back, Tim and friends. I'm losing my voice. My name's Tim McAuliffe. Rubinoff may have to do the rest of the show.
This is a tough scene.
We'll be here with you for another hour right here on Tim and Friends. Blake Murphy also in the building.
Yes, sir.
No NHL games tonight ahead of the league's first ever 16-game slate on Saturday. All 32 teams in action. So we'll focus in on basketball, baseball this hour, as mentioned, and seen. Blake Murphy in studio. We will talk Blue Jays in a flash. We're also going to talk basketball with Michael Grange in Boston. Raptors getting set to face the Boston Celtics, a game you can see on Sportsnet 1, starting with Raptors Central at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Both the Raptors and the Celtics have just 2 games remaining in the regular season. Raptors will have an outside chance to move up to 8th place in the East, but only if the Hawks lose both of their final 2 games. Tragic number is at 1 for the 9 spot. Meanwhile, Celtics are locked up as a 2 seed. Thus, Jaylen Brown will not play tonight, and the Celtics may rest others. Of course, the Raptors lost to the Seas without Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart and others on Wednesday, hearing that Jason Tatum will play tonight. So they switched him out. Tatum in, Brown out. Both of them get a little bit of rest. The Jays will wrap up their season-opening 10-game road trip with 3 in Los Angeles this weekend. Coverage on Sportsnet starts Blue Jays Central 9 Eastern. Jays head into Anaheim with some momentum after winning the final 3 games against the Royals. Although momentum is your next starting pitcher, in my mind. Meanwhile, the Angels are 4-2, both Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, on the heels of their showdown at the WBC, looking pretty good. But the Jays will not have to face the pitcher named Shohei Ohtani. Here's a look at the matchups. Chris Bassett looking to bounce back from a tough outing in his Jays debut. Lefty Patrick Sandoval will get the start tonight for Los Angeles. I became a fan of my next guest when I had more time in my life. He is among the more learned about the games that he covers, never afraid to dig deeper than anyone else. And tonight, that will be on full display. Maiden voyage as the color guy on Blue Jays Radio alongside Ben Wagner. Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go.
the owner of the greatest t-shirt collection I've ever seen, Blake Murphy. What's up, Blake?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Listen, I big up your learned ways, but is there a particular tidbit, maybe perhaps a Timbit, if you will, here on Tim and Friends, that you can share with us that you've been kind of combing through for this maiden voyage as a part of the Blue Jays Radio Broadcast Network?
Yeah, there are some pretty nerdy ones, but I'll stick with a more accessible one, and it's Patrick Sandoval, the starter in tonight's game for the Angels. He is very good, obviously, coming off a really strong season last year. He is a completely different pitcher against left-handed hitters than he is against right-handed hitters. So if you are I haven't seen the lineup yet, if you are a Kevin Biggio, a Kevin Kiermaier, a Dalton Varsho, you're going to see a very different version of Patrick Sandoval than the rest of the righties will. Pretty fascinating when a guy kind of scraps the game plan for southpaws and then goes up with a completely different plan against righties.
But it seems to work, at least against the lefties.
It does.
Yeah.
I think lefties hit about 170 against him last year. Not big numbers. Righties can get to him a little bit. Matt Chapman's a guy who tonight profiles pretty well against lefties who throw that type of pitch mix around that velocity.
He's been profiling well, period, to start this season.
There is that.
Yeah, I know it's a small sample size, and I'm not supposed to do that to you very smart, learned folks. But
three-hit games in the first couple games, you can sample size all you want. The ball is jumping off of that bat right now. And honestly, the thing with small sample sizes is obviously some of the stuff is going to regress, but what you're looking for is if there's a good explanation for why there's a change underneath it, then you start to believe it a little bit more. And that's certainly at play with Matt Chapman and some of the swing mechanics that I'm sure Joe Siddall's talked about a lot on the television broadcast. And just being a little more selective with stuff to drive the opposite way, which I'm not sure if either of you guys were at the Rogers Center unveiling the other day. That right center field power alley for righties who hit it kind of half the other way with some authority looks real friendly.
No, we weren't invited to that.
We'll see it Tuesday.
I wasn't there either.
Oh, okay. I thought you were rubbing it in our face that you were there.
No, I wasn't.
I know it's been feel-good vibes for the last couple days for Jays fans after they panicked early. So I'll wait to talk about Bassett and Barrios being the next two. But the feel-good vibes will continue pregame with Vladdy Sr. throwing out the first pitch today. Should be fun. And Vladdy Jr. has looked pretty damn good as well as Chapman.
He's been unbelievable. And we know that Vlad, when he's really locked in, has one of the best plate approaches approaches in baseball. Now, it's kind of funny that Vlad Sr. is his dad, because Vlad Sr.'s entire thing was he was, people called DeMar DeRozan a bad shot maker. Vlad Guerrero Sr. was a bad pitch hitter, one hop off a knee, things like that. Vlad Jr.'s ability to lay off borderline stuff has really been on display. A little less so last game, but he jumped all over some stuff, so you can't really complain. It's just a guy that really, really looks like he has a set plan at the plate and isn't willing to budge on that. Always been a guy who has a good sense of the strike zone, but could sometimes, be a little overeager at times, swinging at something he can hit instead of waiting for something he can drive. And so far, the walks are great when everyone around you is hitting really well, but the sitting on stuff to drive has been pretty effective as well.
And because of its 17 hard hit balls, that's most in Major League Baseball, and the 90% contact rate, that's just because he's good with a bat.
Yeah. Here's one for you. 2004, Barry Bonds had more home runs than strikeouts.
Yes.
That's kind of the high watermark for this kind of approach. That's the watch we're doing with Vlad early season. I think you want to talk small samples.
All right, I like it. Also kind of fun before the season, ESPN released their top 100 players, and Ohtani and Trout were 1 and 2. And there was no other Angel on that list. Vladdy, Bo, Manoah, Springer, Chapman, Gausman, Varsho, I know these things can be kind of clickbaity, but it was interesting to see Dalton Varsho in the top 100 players. And I think there were a lot of fans in Toronto that thought, wait, we're giving up Gabriel Moreno for this guy. Look to the computer to try and quantify what it was. I think we're getting a pretty good idea in these first 7 games why he's in that top 100 and why the Jays were going to give up a prospect like Moreno for him.
Certainly, and Moreno's going to look really good this next little bit, especially with the volume of base running we're seeing around baseball. You're going to see some highlights of Moreno controlling the running game in a way that, who knows, maybe Alejandro Kirk can't. But what you're also going to see is the guy you got back for that top prospect being one of the best and most well-rounded outfielders in baseball. So you've seen the defense, that unbelievable route in left field the other day to get the outfield assist, kind of one hop right into the catcher's chest. You've seen him shift over to center field. You've seen the drag bunts. He's also come with a much better and different approach against, and again, small sample, against left-handed pitching, which we'll see a lot in this series, 3 lefties in a row for the Angels. If he can improve, if he can just be passable lefty on lefty at the plate, this is a no doubt everyday top to middle of the order hitter. Really, that was the only doubt left in his game. I don't know if he ever hits 28 home runs again, but this year's Jays team is supposed to be about preventing runs in a number of different ways and creating runs in a number of different ways. Varsho's kind of the leading guy for that idea.
So far, so good on that too. No, like just the way that the Jays haven't hit a lot of bombs. Of course, last game you saw the first multi-home run game of the year for the Blue Jays, but they seem to be living up to the billing that we got when we heard them talk, the management talking in the offseason and spring training.
Certainly, I think the Kiermaier inning the other day is a really good example of that, where he hits a ball pretty well up the middle. Maybe he shouldn't be able to take second base on that. So a single becomes a double. And then Bo Bichette rips one to shallow right field, where that's a freeze-in-place play if you are the base runner on second base. And Kiermaier still manages to score from second on that single. We don't have the advanced metrics to add should have and should not have when it comes to scoring from second on a single and things like that. If we did, though, I think you'd be looking at that and been like, well, he should be standing on second base right now, not there at home plate. So that's a great example of it. This early in the season, the defensive numbers tell us nothing. But aside from the one Bo and Matt Chapman throwing errors that they each had in that first series, where's the complaint? They've been pretty excellent in the field. The one question mark I have, and we haven't seen it a lot yet, is our team's going to start pushing the envelope, trying to run on the Blue Jays tandem of catchers. Not because they're not good. They're both very solid framers and blockers and game callers, but we really haven't seen them tested yet with the running game. That's the one area of the defense I'm a little unsure about as yet.
Yeah, I think you're going to start testing Kirk a little bit, maybe more than Jansen, but I think you're going to see that. It's hard to comprehend the Angels being as bad as they've been for as long as they've been with Shohei and Trout. 4-2 start. I know singular talent can't carry a team, but it sure is fun as hell to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 2 ways to build a championship level baseball team. And the first is to have great players.
Yeah.
Angels have that. And, to your point about the top 100 list, the other is to not have bad players, right? Over the course of 162 games, you have enough bad players in the mix there, that catches up with you.
Yeah.
And that's something the Jays have done really well in constructing their roster. We'll see about Jordan Luplow, but maybe, the top 25 guys on the roster can all contribute for you. That's where the Angels have really, really struggled, and especially the start this year with a couple of injuries to Jared Walsh, to Max Stassi. You're going to see over the course of this series, there are some guys who should not be in an everyday lineup if this is a championship contender. They've at least done a little bit better, finding someone like Tyler Wade. If they can ever rediscover anything with Anthony Rendon, if Patrick Sandoval is legitimately a top of the rotation guy. But it seems like every bet they've taken to support Trout and Ohtani has backfired or failed. And I don't know, we're going to see that they're in New York and Boston after this series. You think you're going to hear some rumors about what those could be like as Ohtani free agent destinations?
Yeah, the Ohtani free agent destination. I'm surprised it hasn't started yet, but you're right. As soon as he goes into those big markets and starts playing in those places that historically the media likes to push buttons, it is going to explode, because what we have here is a guy that is going to go to the free agent market, especially if they can't hang on to this 4-2 pace or whatever the hell it is.
And the story of July kind of becomes, if they don't hang on to this pace and they know he's hitting free agency, how many Gabriel Morenos, how many Ricky Tiedemans does it take? Because I don't know if there's a number high enough that I'd say no to that.
The one thing I love about you is that you read a lot too, and you'll take in a lot when forming your opinion. So when you hear about Ohtani's upcoming free agency and you hear the number, I don't know, like $500 million thrown out there, is that really where we're going to end up?
Probably, because it only takes one, right? It doesn't. You don't have to have every team bidding that high. It only takes one team, and have the Mets shown that any hesitancy at all to throw money around? We know, of course, the Yankees are always willing to spend big, and then especially if your two competitive suitors are, say, the Red Sox and the Mets. You don't think that's going to push the Yankees a little bit? Maybe 500 is a little high just because of, the injury concern anytime you're a pitcher. But he's going to get a record-breaking contract. And I don't know, I think any team that isn't firmly in those conversations is going to regret it for at least a part of that deal.
Yeah, if I'm Ohtani, though, I don't go to the Mets. Like, they've done something to the baseball gods.
Now that they have the hospital patch on their jerseys, too, the New York Presbyterian Hospital, 2 on the nose. 2 on the nose, thank you.
All right, I've held off long enough. Bassett, Berrios, that is the next 2 starters for the Toronto Blue Jays. Who are you more worried about in the 2?
I'm more worried about Jose Barrios, and I'll tell you why with Bassett. Obviously, that first start is not what you want to see. A guy throws 8 different pitches. That's awesome. 4 different pitches get hit for a home run in the same game. Less awesome. 8 pitches isn't great if you are having trouble locating any of them and your velocity's down a little bit. Having said that, it's one start for Bassett. His velocity was down a little bit at the start of last year as well, and it came along. He did sound pretty frustrated after the last start, but I'm willing to give him some time given, and forgive me for saying this, the level of consistency he's shown throughout his career so far.
Track record's good. I got it. Yeah.
That was the same for Jose Barrios, though. And now, one thing I thought could have helped with Jose Barrios is, well, maybe last year when it was constant tinkering, the offseason helped a little bit. You're not moving on the rubber. You're not moving your hands. You're not changing up your curveball, fastball mix. You could just kind of reset and go back to being Jose Barrios.
Right.
The fact that we're right back there, start 1 and start -1 if you want to count his World Baseball Classic appearance.
Or spring training.
Yeah, this is one that I think there's as much mental going on here as physical, and I don't mean like necessarily between the uprights for him, but just there is a mental toll to constantly tinkering, and when you go to pitch, you're thinking, okay, where am I set on the mound? Where are my hands? How opened up am I? I think there's a lot going on with Barrios, and your primary reason for optimism was he got to reset that. He did not reset that, so I'm a little concerned there.
Yeah, arm slot, release point, everyone's like over-analyzing everything he does, and he stops being a pitcher and starts being some sort of robot, and humans aren't good at the robot thing.
It's like me when I first came in and started doing these with you, and people are like, you can't do the Ricky Bobby thing with your hands. It look like keep your hands in one place, and I'm still not the best at it, but if you're overthinking and that's constantly all you're focusing on, and if you're Barrios, you've got 4 hand placement things to be focused on. Right. It's a lot. You can't just focus on just letting it rip.
Right. I had my first time ever on TV was at the Score Television Network, and we had a wood desk. And so I put my 2 hands on the wood desk, and they stayed in the same spot the entire time. And when I finished, it was about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes worth of a hit. And I picked up my hands. It was like,
Soaking wet.
and it was just 2 handprints soaking wet on each side of the thing. Now it's like, I was gonna say I had hair, but I didn't have hair probably at the time.
We didn't cross paths there.
At the
think
score,
I think I was there right after you.
just finishing it, yeah. But we are crossing paths here, and I love it. I know the maiden voyage is coming on the Blue Jays Broadcast Network on the radio side of things alongside Ben Wagner tonight. I wish you nothing but the best. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys having me over the years, and I appreciate you not asking me about the Toronto Raptors 2 games out from the play-in today.
How you feeling about the Raptors? I feel like I want to ask about it now. Always a pleasure, my friend. Have fun tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Blake Murphy. More after the break as we get you caught up to date on a busy day in the Major Leagues, including an AL East battle between the Yankees and the Orioles. All that, plus Michael Grange coming up, as long as I can keep my voice. It's Tim and Friends.